Hey everybody, I'm Fadlar from HouseRivalries Production, and today we're going to have a couple of exciting games here at HouseRivalries Nations Divisions. But first, we have my beautiful co-caster, Paradox. Hey
I don't,
man,
I
how
don't,
are you?
I don't know if I'd call myself beautiful, but I'll take the compliment all the same. Thank you.
So we have for our first game Stockholm Silverhands versus Amsterdam Totems. We have the lineups, we have the bands, and we're pretty much ready to go. So I'll pass it on to you, Paradox, just to get your input about the decks and the lineups.
From what I've seen of the lineups, the Swedes are playing relatively standard stuff. I'm just looking at them now. Like we've got standard control warrior, nothing too exciting there. Like one execute. We've got standard OTK paladin. Really, we've got the Highlander mage, which we haven't seen in a little while. Like we've got
And
as far as the list goes, we haven't seen Highlander mage in a little while. What do you think about the Swedes bringing in the Highlander mage to this event?
I really like Highlander Mage, especially in LHS, just because it's a very well-rounded deck that can beat the control and the aggro. I would say pretty consistently, but I guess around like if it's around 50% against everything, it's pretty good in LHS. But it can also be very disappointing. So I'm really interested in the tech choices for this deck. They don't have mind control tech. They opted not to run the secret package. I think they're running Luna's Pocket Galaxy. Some of these versions do not run that spell. Um, I'm actually pretty confident that it will do well, but it does. I mean, it doesn't hard counter anything, which is the problem to actually get a consistent win rates from it.
Yes. So these tech choices, in my mind, the lack of mind control tech and the inclusion of Pocket Galaxy indicate that the Swedes are planning on using this against another control deck, say like Warrior or Druid or something, and then just try to beat that rather than beating these decks. So, like usually when you're playing Last Year Standing, the main gimmick, like the way you win series, is usually by beating an unfavorable, and then snowballing your advantage from there.
Yeah, as
The
we
band
know,
play hard on it, but it's
well,
mostly getting that snowball off.
yeah, the moment you have a 2-0 lead or actually manage to beat an unfavorable if you queued poorly in the first game, that's when you're probably going to snowball the series. And I think Mage is definitely capable of that. It's also pretty good against Priest and against Druid, which is something we haven't talked about. As far as I'm aware, it's one of the only deck that's pretty reasonable against both decks, who are the strongest in the meta right now. And we're jumping into our first game, just by the way. We have Zoo from Amsterdam here, kind of sniped by the Control Warrior from Stockholm. That must sting for them.
So this sort of exemplifies the idea that I presented a few moments ago about if you're able to beat an unfavorable, you're going to have a massive advantage going in. And Zoo definitely does have the potential of doing that versus Control Warrior. It depends on how many AoE spells, the brawls, the warpaths, etc. is to clear effective boards, right? Like if the warrior is using brawl, for example, to clear like 3 minions, they're not really going to be winning. Save these removal spells for when they're going to be the most effective, and if the Zoo can get off to a good start, like we see here with the Mechru Evil Genius, then they can snowball remarkably quickly.
Yeah, the Zoo Warlock definitely has quite a perfect curve here, with a 1 going into a 2, going into Prime 3 and Prime 4, although the 4 is only Prime if the 3-drop survives. And the Warrior opts to keep the Shield Slam and the Brawl. What do you think about this keep from Silverhands?
So it acknowledges the position of the warrior in that they are the deck that will win the long game against Zoo. as long as they survive, and keeping cards like Shield 7 Brawl do help them to do that. What I'm most interested in is if either go for the Sinister Deal to try to get Damage Lackey or Rush Lackey, or they could go Evil Genius now, which it looks like they're going to, and then hope to roll either Rush or Damage Lackey to clear this 2-2 off.
And they are opting to keep it as well. They're opting not to attack with the 1-1, weakening the taunt, just because they were afraid they won't get a Titanic Lackey here to boost their 2-drop, which is very smart from my perspective. They're basically keeping another 1-1 on the board for free.
Also because you want to try to find a Rush Lackey. So then you destroy the Mekaru, you have the 1-1, and then you coin out Rush Lackey, and then you have a 2-1 that rushes into the 2-2 and clears it.
Yeah, I guess so. Titanic Lackey and Rush Lackey accomplish pretty much the same thing, which is not losing your 2-attack minion, your biggest minion so far, to the 2-drop.
See the warrior here is having a little bit of a slow start. Not really able to deal with these early threats without committing one of those all-important AoE spells I was mentioning earlier.
Do you think they should have committed the Shield Slam and just traded the 2-4?
Well, you have to consider what the trade is going to be like on the following turn, right? Then you can just armor up Shield Slam to clear anyway. Or if they clear the 2-1-1s off the board, then you can just play the 3-5. You're still left in a position where you have the ability to make a decent follow-up play, so I don't mind this. We're probably going to see the 4-5 Nefset Thrasher come down here. And which trade do you take? What cards are you willing to play around from the Warlock's perspective?
Yeah, I mean, the Warlock can't be... I mean, the Warlock can't be too greedy here about saving its threats. It either wins early or it doesn't win at all. So we will see Amsterdam taking at least a couple of risks in this game. And hopefully for them, it will work out. We can see, though, the Warrior has Brawl for the wide board, so trading these 2-1-1s in is kind of foreseeing that quite wisely.
And now we sort of come. So I say now we sort of come back to what I said in the previous turn, where they can just play the taunt. How wide do they go? They can play the Vulture here and clear off this taunt, but at the same
really
time,
bad. I mean, the Vulture feels great, but the trading into the 3-5 must feel bad. So they have a choice here. Do we go all in with the diseased Vulture and use our Nephirist for what it's meant to be used, which is damaging our face and to summon a 3-drop? Or do we actually clear this 3-5 taunt in a more secure way that keeps our board protected from things like Warpath?
I don't particularly mind this line of thought from the Dutch here, because even if Warpath comes down twice, there's still no way to clear the Vulture off the board, which means next turn with life tap, you're guaranteed an additional 3-drop from the start, right? If you're using Warpath to only clear 2 minions and your opponent's up a Vulture afterwards, you're feeling pretty good. Like, this way, you're basing the Warrior into using a Brawl, while you still have 5 cards in your hand, and you can still just as easily life tap and continue to assist. And God forbid this Vulture survives if that Brawl comes down. That would just be the end.
Well, I wouldn't say it's the end quite yet, but it would definitely be a very bad outcome for Stockholm here. They're going for Dynomatic, hopefully sniping at least the 2-1, which they are doing, but they are leaving 3 minions on board, and the Nephirist surviving is a huge deal. That means Amsterdam can summon another random 3-drop for free, essentially allowing them to keep their hand size while still developing tempo on the board for Stockholm to deal with. So I would say they're in good position right now. For the matchup, at least.
Yeah. Though on the flip side, the Dynamatic also damaged the Vulture down to 3 health, which means that now it dies to Warpath 3 times. Result, this now makes the Warpath a lot more favorable. I would like to see the Dutch, and it looks like they're not going to go for it. They may go
They could discover
just
here.
the deal now
Yeah,
to try to
exactly.
find Titanic Lackey.
Yeah, I like that play
Lackey, the Vulture
as
won't die
well.
to 3 Warpaths, which currently clears the board.
I mean, but also buffing your Vulture pretty much tells Stockholm to use their brawl. It pretty much tests for that. So I guess, yeah, I guess they have to take that risk, right? That's what we said in the beginning. They will have to take some risks here, and I think the Titanic Lackey play was definitely a smart way to go about it. They opting not to do that though and play the Evil Caber Rat instead. What do you think about that?
The Warpath wasn't a card.
Yeah, so
Sure, I don't like this perspective. I'm not
Yeah,
sure how
I mean,
Caber Rat was better in that position than Sinister Deal.
yeah, I think Warpath punishes you a lot more than Brawl, so you rather just play into Brawl anyway. Like, I really like the Titanic Lackey out rather than playing straight into full board clear. Essentially, this 5/3 cannot attack unless you have spell power, which would be cool. Is there any 3-drop, random 3-drop with spell power? There's the
Dalaran Mage is a 1/4. Damage +1.
well, that's potentially 5 damage
Yeah.
that they're not
I'm just
opting
going
to go with.
take a look. One Super Collider. Explain why they're not quite Vulture again, because if it was me, I would go Vulture Flame Imp and then possibly Voidwalker this turn just to try to put the worry on having another AoE. Now with this wide approach, it's just that a wide approach isn't this. You've
War
already
has a really
seen
unique,
Dynamatic and Warpath. I guess going wide isn't that unreasonable.
Yeah, they've just seen Warpath, so they're going. Okay, that's a very good discovery here from the Frightened Flunky, especially after the Discover nerf. They only have 1 Tomb Warden in their deck naturally, so getting 2 is really amazing here. But they're not picking it.
I don't mind them not picking the 2-1 here.
I mean,
The
I would
main
think
aim
it's
for
a
the warrior
prime
hit
choice.
is just to survive, like rather than just generating large minions. Good follow up on this turn if they didn't go for the 2/6 anyway. Like Super Collider isn't good when your opponent's a Voidwalker and a 1/1 sitting in the way.
Yeah, I guess they're also trying maybe to bait something like a Sea Giant for a brawl. But I mean, I wouldn't feel as bad as Stockholm there. Like I would actually opt for the Tomb Wardens just because I can go into Tomb Warden, which is massive. But I guess they're just feeling confident in the hand they got. I wouldn't feel as confident. That's like a very limited amount of resources.
I think confidence isn't the right word to call it in this situation. I would call it more pragmatism. Of understanding that you just need to survive rather than being flashy. Like going for 2 more than 8 and 9 seems good. The problem is that you're conceding the board to the Warlock for 2 turns in a row. Really find cards like Grim Rally and just blow the game completely out of control. Which is obviously something they don't want to see. They go for the damage Lackey on the next round of Sinister Deal instead of Spell Lackey. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a smart recognition from Amsterdam. They have Leroy Soulfire in hand. The warrior doesn't have armor, 24 HP. If a minion here survive, then it's on average just going to be 1 damage to the face. But if the Mountain Giant survive, they could be threatening lethal really soon, if not next turn. Okay, so that's the ball coming down. They're not playing the Snip Snap first to maximize the chances that Mountain Giant goes away. But it goes away anyway, and the average minion that can come out of Brawl indeed came out of it in a 1-1.
This was also the reason they didn't play it. It's also because they wanted to have a minion on the board after the Brawl comes down in case Sea Giant doesn't survive.
They would have 2 1-1s though.
That they can't really beat Sea Giant if it lives anyway.
So what would you do now if you were Amsterdam Totems?
I've seen 1 Brawl, 1 Warpath, 1 Dynamatic. At this point, the logical decision, from my perspective, would be to begin going wide and start punishing the Swedes for not having very many ways of dealing with wide board states anymore.
Oh,
and,
wow!
Oh my goodness!
That 3-drop is amazing.
Carpet.
What? Now I have another
huge.
question. Do you actually damage your own face with the Lackey?
I don't think so. Dude. Damage the 1-1.
That must be a consideration for them now, right? And they got a venomous minion as well, which is really good against Tomb Warden, but really bad against Super Collider.
The other reason why I think you just clear here is to play around Ziliax. Like, just in case the 1-1 gets hit with a Ziliax buff.
Yeah, you definitely send your
huge,
Super Collider. So you send the Super Collider into the 3-5 just to make sure that the Cobra and the Vulture kill each other.
Well,
then you only left with a 1-6 and a 1-1. Which is not threatening at all to a warrior with 22 HP. But that Vulture play was insane. But it's answered so beautifully here with the Poisonous actually playing to Amsterdam disadvantage.
I'm not sure I agree with this being an incredible turn. To have another massive follow-up with the Evil Crew and the Left Step Pressure.
Yeah, but that would also not play amazingly well into the weapon here.
I disagree. You just have to position the 3-3 to the right of the carpet, and then you put the Thrasher to the left of the carpet.
Yes.
4-5 are the furthest points away from each other on the board. No good Super Collider target, really. Everything else,
that's assuming
maybe a
there's no answer in hand, which is actually, I mean, we are stepping into the Omega Devastator turn.
We are, but Omega Devastator doesn't have rush at this point, so it's not that much of a threat.
Yeah, this Voidwalker is just a godsend here, allowing them to play around the Super Collider pretty well, unless of course it gets removed. But in order for the Voidwalker to get removed, they have to armor up and use 2 shield slams on it, which is probably very ineffective. So right now they have another very difficult choice. Do they play Armageddillo so Tomb Wardens can be pretty much the Great Wall of China next turn? Or are they actually just playing them now because they're fearing for their life so much?
Let's count the board, shall we? There is 13 on the board currently.
They're fearing for their life.
Ignoring Voidwalker, right? So
yes, and
if
disregarding a Leroy
is a card, which they've held on to the left card of hand for quite a while, from the Street's perspective, is relatively high. To take 19 damage, maybe? And at that point, they'd be at 22, so that's only 3 damage.
Held there for a while. They could suspect something like a Grim Rally or Soulfire or something that helps them go face as well.
Yeah.
So I think they will have to play Tomb Wardens here. They can't play greedy games of Armageddillo. Yeah, they are indeed going for that. It's a good spot.
Yeah, I respect that. So, the question is, how can the Zoolock deal with it? Probably going to see the Sinister Deal first to see what the options are. Spell Lucky? That's not too bad.
You could
We get
also
something like
Titanic something.
Demon Bolt or Siphon Soul here to try to deal with the 3/6. Not what they were looking for. Coil?
Do they void contract? I mean, just to take the Hail Mary
You know,
here?
Void Contract, come on.
But it's fun. Yeah, I
They
don't
wanna
obviously
win.
don't go for it. Now they have
Yeah,
another
no, they wanna
choice,
win.
right?
Pick another 5/5, deciding to.
I'm not sure
Pretty good
that's
positioning too, given the way that they're doing this. The laser, and then you're able to still get into 6. However, unless they play something else between the 5/5 and the 5/2, leaves them open to Super Collider.
yeah,
That
that's
was
nice.
not good positioning on the Dutch part, because now the 3/3 dies, the Super Collider can clear both 5/5s. I think they should have put the egg
Between the 3-3 and the
just one
5-2.
place to the right on the board to try to prevent something like this from happening.
Yeah, that's definitely a small mishap, but that tells us they're valuing their carpet a little bit too much, especially after we've seen so many 1-drops. Their hand is empty of lackeys or any other 1-drops as well. I can't say I like that, but yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the Swedes are taking a slightly different approach though. Instead of going for the Devastator and then using the Collider on the 3/3. So it turns out it didn't matter. Let's see.
And here's a 1-drop.
Payment is a 4/3.
If they
So
tap,
they
they do way too much damage to themselves. I mean, I think they have to, right? They probably have to tap and flame him.
Yeah. Caesar I picked up, which is pretty nice.
But if they play Leroy,
point.
and flame him, how much will Giant cost? Will it cost
There's
1?
4 minions being played. They could
Yeah,
actually
it will
just
cost
empty
1,
that.
so it will gain rush, right? So then you can send it into the 4/7.
Yeah.
And they can also Soulfire. That's a pretty... Is that lethal?
Lethal. Oh wait! Wait, yes it is! Oh, because the Sea Giant plus 1 is rush!
Yeah.
Oh, that's huge!
That's an amazing power turn right there. Beautiful spot from Amsterdam.
Really well spot. That was a really well spot. I didn't see that actually. That was really smart.
Really, I would say almost a explosive ending, I would call it. That was an insane sequence of cards.
I would say that too. And now we sort of get into that aspect of LHS I said from the start of the series, where because the Dutch won and unfavorable, they can now start to get that snowball going. So the question is, what can the Swedes bring in to counter Zoo Warlock, do you think?
Holy Wrath
now that the
Paladin
Warrior
every
is
time.
gone.
I think Holy Wrath Paladin is actually favored against Zoo. That's why like there were 2 decks who are strong against Zoo and aggro decks in theory at least, which is the Control Warrior and the OTK Paladin. So I'm actually pretty amazed they're queuing the Mage into this. Which means maybe we should take a better look at the Mage here and see how it's stacked against Zoo. Because Mage is not bad against Zoo, but I feel like if it's not running the secret package, it's not a very reliable Zoo counter. It's around 50% win rate, and when you compare it to Paladin, I think it's way weaker and less consistent.
Yeah. The Mage is also playing cards like Yogg-Saron's Puzzle Box, which is also a card with that Totem Pilgrim that you typically see as like one of those backup plans against
I don't see that in their list. I see.
Playing it, that's the point. Instead, they're playing a lot more greed. Religion. They're playing Pocket Galaxy.
Yeah, which makes me wonder. They don't like the secret package really helps in this matchup. They do have Doomsayers and they do have like freezes and board clears, but I mean that's not consistent enough to actually beat Zoo, which begs the question once again: why not
clear
OTK?
comes down on 6, right? a lot of time, unless of course this Keysmith pulls out the Flame Ward.
Yeah.
They're not really dealing with the board until at least turn 5.
But what do you think about this choice? I'm still puzzled. Why was the OTK Paladin not queued? Could you think of a reason?
Maybe they're just not confident in the matchup as the Paladin.
Could it be that they're keeping it for a deck that's not Zoo and they just want to get the high roll here with the Mage?
Possible. Because OTK Paladin is a much, much better matchup against Priest. Historically has countered Mage extraordinarily hard, so that might be what they're aiming for with that line of logic. Except Grim Rally, they could go all in here. You go Flame Imp, Crystallizer, hit with Knife Juggler, and then just Grim Rally on the Knife
oversight
Juggler.
Here though. Did they actually Grim Rally the Knife Juggler to play around the Flame Ward from the Keysmith?
No, it looks like, yeah, they're just doing it on that, so they're able to keep the Juggler alive. I don't mind this either.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be quite the oversight here. So if they coin the Keysmith here looking for the wall, that would be amazing if they actually get that. They have a 1 out of 6, and they did not get any powerful secret here. They did not get Vaporize, which is single target. They did not get the wall, which is board clear, and they did not get 8 armor. They literally got, I think they picked Mirror Entity. They clicked so quickly that I couldn't notice, but I think it's Mirror Entity.
The fact that they clicked so quickly can also be... It's also a psychological tactic that could psych the Dutch out. If you play Keysmith and you pick the secret so quickly, you're psychologically inclined to think it is a Flame Ward. And you see them making these suboptimal trades. They anticipated that it was Flame Ward.
Yes, and they even
normally
kept
a Flame Imp trading into a 2/2 would be ludicrous. That backdrop behind it, it makes a lot more sense. Because of that unfortunate trade, they don't have a way of clearing Doomsayer.
Unless they get 2 damage lackey. Oh my god, it's not their day.
They did not.
And now the question is, do we play the lackey and look for something, or do we save the lackey for the evil recruiter next turn?
I imagine they're probably going to save it. I'm not sure what lackey you're really looking for in this situation that can deal with Doomsayer.
Well, you get the 2 damage lackey.
But even then, Counterspell is probably a secret up there at this point. They know it's not Ice Barrier. Cobalt Lackey would do it, because it's 2 damage.
Yeah, I mean, but they must have thought about the... Gosh, I can't remember the name of that secret. The one that duplicates a minion.
Oh, you mean Splitting Image?
Yeah, they must have had that in mind as well. So if they
they didn't even get the Lackey to check for it. The spell Lackey come down. There's Plague of Flames.
And now they're gonna reveal the secret, right? Probably going for Siphon Soul here just to get rid of some taunt or a giant or some big minion Zoo can't really efficiently deal with. Plague of Flames is also okay, but I just think Mage doesn't produce white boards consistently enough, especially not in this position playing against Zoo.
I disagree, because you don't really play Plague of Flames when your board is full in this type of scenario. You play it when Mage is like a couple of minions and you have like a couple of tokens, and you just Plague of Flames just to clear the board.
Would you tap or develop the
and
imp
then
here?
hit for lethal, just things like that.
I think you just develop the imp, right? No.
Well, the imp just dies to the Sandbinder for free, or like the 1/1 I'm paying. It doesn't actually do anything.
I mean, it essentially saves your 3/3 though. I mean, they're only on 12 HP, and you're probably smelling blood here. You want to finish this quickly before something like a Reno gets on board, something like a taunt, like a Cartoon Defender.
speaking of Reno, there he is, and Reno would have dealt 10, and he would have killed that flame imp for free, so...
Yeah, I guess. That's
Not
also
for
something
strain.
that they couldn't play around, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. There's the sort of scenario, say earlier, where Plague of Flames would be much more useful than Siphon Soul. Mage just has like a reasonably large board, and they just cleared the Zoo's board. Just be a nice catch-up mechanism. Just like you said, they are smelling blood. They just need a Leroy and a little bit more damage through to the face.
Yeah, the problem
Be
for them
useful
is
to
that
stall for time.
as they're smelling blood, they're bleeding themselves, right? They have 18 HP if they choose to play Flame Imp or damage themselves with tap. They can get down to 13 HP, which actually gives Stockholm a couple of outs, especially with Zephyrus, which is always active in Reno Mage. They are
Also,
going
just going for the whiteboard, just saying, you know, Flame Strike, whatever. I don't believe
so
you.
Zephyrus is lethal here.
3 drops were horrible. Round of them, like these are like 1-drop level stats, not 3-drop level stats.
Yes, the 2-1 is incredibly poor here, but like easily gets pinged or dealt with the 1-1. I actually think you just play Ziliax, ping, and probably just go face with the rest, because you're killing Amsterdam in 2 turns here.
I'm not sure I agree. I don't think you just clear the board. 2-10 lethal if you never die. You straight there, then you ping Reno, and then is the Sandbinder? I'm pretty sure you just full clear. It looks like they are going for this 2-10 lethal setup. I'm not sure I agree with this.
I mean, how does
ambitious,
deal with
considering they
this?
don't have any burn spells in their list.
I don't see how Amsterdam deals with that other than get some random answers.
Yeah, and Plague of Flames.
Yeah, but Plague of Flames gets rid of the board for them, which is another reason to go face here for Stockholm. Although they can't really know what kind of spell they have. Oh, that's nice.
At the same time, if that Flame Strike wasn't there, I have no answer to this.
Each team can
To
possibly
force
lethal
yourself
the
into
other.
playing a board clear when you don't have to.
Yeah.
Like when you're ahead and you're the control player in the aggro matchup, all you're looking to do is just try to figure out ways you can lose the game, rather than figuring out ways that you can win. It doesn't, doesn't
sometimes
really
that
win
way
you
of
the game.
thinking
It's just trying to be greedy, I feel.
I feel they were justified. I mean, I can see your point, and I think both plays have their merit. Both play styles have their merit. But yeah, I mean, right now, if Stockholm draws Zephyrus, the game is over. They always have lethal. They did have the board. They did have Ziliax up, and they did have the other side frozen. So I can definitely understand the way they played. Like Amsterdam is too scared probably to tap, although they might have to, and they can't play their Nephirus Thrashers. For like they will just kill themselves in a turn or two. So they just have to play with what they got here, and that freeze is a godsend. You just play Luna and freeze the board, I suppose. You can also do the same with Giant. Which I guess you actually prefer doing because that sets up lethal with the clear next turn, with the taunt clear, not the giant clear. So you can just play giant for 6 and freeze. You don't even need to discount it for any reason. The discount is only 1 mana because the giant gets more expensive as there are less cards in your hand. Yeah, that sets up.
Like as I say, this is sort of showing what I mean. These plays that aren't that good. It's up lethal, but it's relying on it's relying on stuff going your way. And I don't think they need to take that risk. It's going to work out. I just disagree with the mentality. So they have one more tap to try to find a taunt or a way of dealing with Mountain Giant, or else they're just gonna die next turn.
Oh yeah, we can see that they need to find a
or something similar
that has more than 4
Oh,
HP.
that is actually an out. That is actually an out. Yeah, because now they can Grim Rally. And now they're taught at 6 health.
And it's out of Flame Strike ping range.
Think. Oh, the Frostbolt is lethal. And
Yes.
yeah, there we go.
Frostbolt is more damage than a ping.
But
Beautiful
imagine if
top
that
deck
Frostbolt or Blizzard wasn't drawn in that position. They would just lose. They would just lose the game from a position where they were marginally ahead.
Yes, they would have been forced to play Caligos here for some random spell, and that's probably not a way to win consistently. So I can definitely see your point of view here. If you don't have the lethal secured, if you don't have that Zephyrus in hand, maybe you shouldn't go for the blood if you're the control deck. Maybe just play into what your deck is supposed to do consistently rather than relying on the top deck. Yep, I can definitely see your point. And I think you're right. I think I'm also right, but maybe I'm way too excited to kill my opponent sometimes.
Yeah. No, I can understand. Sometimes it is better to be the aggressor. Knowing your role and how to approach it in the matchup, I feel is one of the most important skills in a Hearthstone game.
Definitely a valuable lesson.
Oh, now we
right?
see like the priest coming in, and priest versus Highlander Mage has historically been a blowout matchup. It's not even been close. They wanted to throw the mage to the wolves almost. The paladin has a much better chance against priest.
Yeah, so that's what they've been
Imagine
saving their paladin for, I suppose. They had to get that mage win against the zoo just to make sure they get the paladin to counter the strongest deck in the meta, priest.
Yeah, because with cards like Double Shrink Ray and Equality, the paladin has a way of dealing with these large priest boards, right? The mage just can't do that. The mage is pretty much reliant on finding very specific pieces and hoping the priest whiffs.
Well, it's the beginning of a whiff, but it's not a whiff yet.
No. I think you play the 1-2 here. Yeah. I guess if it pushes like 3 to 4 damage overall, it might be worth it, but I can appreciate them just holding on to it.
Yeah, and Stockholm could play Zephyrus for silence on some sort of a big minion in the early stages, and they could play it for some other answer in the late game. So Zephyrus is always a great card against Priest for Stockholm here. They do have Luna and Arcane Intellect, so pretty much a very good hand, except for that Antonidas from Stockholm. It's not going to be a breeze for Amsterdam as far as we're concerned. They don't have any of their combo cards yet. That's not what they want to see.
And this is sort of why the matchup is so bad for the mage, is that they have a bunch of singleton cards like Twilight Drake, Luna, AI, Antonidas, etc. They don't deal with the board. And not only that, they don't deal with minions that get out of control. They have Zephyrs, Voodoo, and Polymorph in the entire deck, and that's it. Of this mage deck's power is by doing unfair things, and unfortunately, their unfair things don't happen in the early game, which is where the priest can sometimes go out of control. Oh, there's a 2/6 and a 3/2 light one on the board, which both need to be dealt with. Full of minions that can't do anything. So they're just going to get run over if they don't find a good enough AoE soon.
So what would you do here if you were... It's turn 3, suddenly Amsterdam top deck, the very threatening minion. You don't have a way to kill it. Do you just play your Zephyrus here, or are you taking another turn to draw a card?
Yeah, no, I like this play more. Just develop the threats. You need to develop the threats in this matchup in order to have any chance of winning, realistically speaking.
Realistically speaking, though, that doesn't actually kill the taunt. And I guess they will just have to use Zephyrus next turn to deal with that 3-2. If it remains a 3-2, which we can see it's not going to.
Yeah. So a really smart play the Dutch can do here. But a smart play they can do here is go double sidekick and light one to make it a 6 health. and then heal the opponent's face, and then just go face fifthing. So, like a 5-6 on 10-4 with a taunt behind it is remarkably hard for mates to deal with.
They could also play one beaming on the Light Warden, get it to 4 HP, another beaming on the taunt, and then they can trade the taunt and heal and keep it outside of the range for the Twilight Drake.
But then you're leaving the Light Warden exposed.
No,
I think the Light Warden is far more valuable.
Why is it
taunt.
exposed at 4 HP?
Because if your opponent is something like Polymorph, for example, or Zephyrs, hypothetically, they can Polymorph the taunt and then kill the Light Warden, and then you have nothing. Your board is just like 1-2s and 2-3s, so the mage can deal with these. Burst damage. It's all about
the polymorph.
Once the priest loses the board, they're done.
True. What can Zephyrs get you for 2 mana?
Shadow Word Pain, and that's it.
Shadow Word Pain. I guess Explosive Shot is okay. No, it's not.
I give you Explosive Shot when you have 2 mana
Explosive Shot is horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going for silence. They're going for silence.
Yeah, they're going for silence. This makes sense.
They have to. Yeah, that's a good play.
Yeah.
Go for silence.
Yeah, I don't mind this. Also keeps your board alive.
What do you think about
and
this
they drew another Light one. Yeah, this is making their Bomb 70 a little bit worse because they keep drawing all the 1-drops. They have
drawn 4 1-drops so far, which means they have 2 remaining or 4 remaining?
2 remaining, because they've drawn the 2 Psychics and 2 Light ones.
Yeah, so pretty much the strongest 1-drop in the game are the 2 1-drops they still have in their deck. And they don't want to draw them anymore, as strong as they might be, because they have that one Sunday sitting waiting for 1-drops.
So if I'm sitting here from the position of the Dutch, I don't think these 1-2s really serve much for purpose at this point. I think you can just trade 2 of them off into Zephyrs and then use Light 1 to heal the taunt. Then you just go face with the rest.
Yeah, I like that play a lot.
So there's going to be a card at some point, and these 1-2s don't push nearly as much damage. Protecting this Light 1, it is by far the most important piece that you have available to you.
They are sending the Wild Pyro in. I think that's justified. I think that's a good play.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like this.
I don't like
this.
Okay, now we're going again for the... I keep calling it the wall, but I think it's
the Flame Ward.
The Flame Ward. I keep calling it a Flame Wall.
No, I really don't like this line of play.
They're almost snap playing it though. Yes, they are, and they're missing it again.
No, that Light one, which could have hit for 5 and the following turn, is just gonna die.
Yes. I really don't understand the 2 beaming sidekicks here. But
just really just have to push all the damage possible? I don't know.
I guess you just trade here though. I guess you just flip something and trade.
How much are you willing to play around secrets when you're in such a bad position as the priest? You're almost out of cards, your board is easily answered.
I mean, next turn is Blizzard turn as well. I mean, if you lose the board as priest, you lose the game. I think just not trading these beaming sidekicks, it was a really poor judgment on their end. So now I think they have to just reconsider their plays and just go for trading.
And of course now the ramifications of making these specific plays of not trading the psychic a turn earlier has really come back to haunt them. They lose out on at least like 4 damage compared to if they traded the previous turn. That's what I mean. It's going to matter towards the end of this. Being said, don't really have much to do either. Double Snip Snap isn't that great. What can they do?
Draw? They could Luna draw.
Luna draw when you're at 19, your opponent has 5 on board? eventually. Why
I
not
mean,
now?
I mean, you could also just go for the Tiamat because it costs 7. You can play it next turn.
It's not
I
guaranteed,
mean,
because there's
yeah,
still
you
Mountain
can get
Giant in the deck as
50-50,
well.
yes.
Tiamat isn't even that good, right? Because Silence is still a card.
I mean, Silence is still a card, but you are getting rid of the cards on board right now.
Time runs out on me.
Oh, here's a Blizzard. That's something I want to see.
And yeah, most likely just going to see Bomb Samdi come down now, just as a big threat on board that fishes out the clerics from your deck.
Do you get rid of the 2/4 first with a Topsy Turvy, or I mean, you can't get rid of it with Power Chill because you don't have enough mana to play Bond Someday along with it. I think you actually do a Topsy Turvy here just to get rid of the Luna, and then you play the Bond Someday.
Samdi and then Topsy Turvy.
I
So
think
then the Bomb
Topsy Turvy
Samdi is
the
damaged.
2/4 and trade in the 2/2 and just leave the Pyro up with as a 3/1. I mean, if they play the
No,
Bond
the reason
Someday
why
first.
I'm saying you play Bomb Samdi first, and then potentially go for Topsy Turvy if they do. Okay, it's not like it doesn't look like they're going to. But the reason why you
because
would
they-
do that if that
Yeah, you want him wounded because you drew both Northshire Clerics.
yeah exactly.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Tiamat you're talking about last turn picked up, so
Yeah,
maybe
and that's why I
they
didn't
kill
like
Bomb
wounding him,
Samdi?
right? Because Tiamat lines up perfectly with 6 HP minions. So I think going into turn 7,
But
you actually
you never play around one-offs when playing at Highlander Mage. That's not how it works. Because if you play around
Well, it's
one-offs,
also weak against Reno.
you're never going to play around anything.
I mean,
Thinking of anything.
there are 2 cards that you need to play around at that point, right? You have a 7/6
What to
and a weaker board that dies to Reno, and you have a 7/6 that dies to Tiamat. I think you definitely play around 2 cards that can clear you, just because that's
Anyway,
like your
though,
cover deck.
Time runs out.
trade Luna into Pyro, and then there's 10 on board, and then Reno clears anyway. So it doesn't do anything. So it's literally only playing around Tiamat. Okay.
Behold the tools of
Makes sense.
creation.
Oh,
Why leave the Pyro though?
the Pyro is definitely better than the Never Set Ritualist.
Yeah, I agree.
It pushes less damage and it doesn't have an effect. Clerics to draw on last turn for Bomb Samdi. The lists
It
are
pushes
open.
more damage.
Is someone
The
injured?
More
Pyro.
damage and it's giving cards away.
Yeah.
Sight to me.
Wait, why are they not committing the second cleric?
Commit the second cleric here. Is this because they want to try to get like Bomb Samdi or something back?
I mean, don't you just want to draw your entire deck so you can always threaten?
Yeah, no, if that's circle, you're drawing now. You're definitely drawing now. I don't know why the buff, actually, yeah, buffing the Pyro is fine, I guess, because it pushes damage through. Yeah, I guess it's fine. 6 cards. That's a crazy amount of cards.
Yep, and that's
Put
probably
the
gonna
Dutch right back in.
What is it gonna bait here? It probably has to be Blizzard, right?
You have to go Blizzard Doomsayer, right? Choice.
Yep. I don't see another play. But Doomsayer gets rid of so easily with Topsy Turvy, yeah.
I don't think they have any other option though. Like Pilgrim, like I said earlier, doesn't get Puzzle Box of Yogg-Saron. This is the only way you have a chance of clearing the board.
Well, you could discover something random from Caligos, and you could also get maybe a useful spell from Tertolan. Like if this 5/3 isn't healed, you could probably clear with the Flame Strike.
Oh, he's getting blown
Oh, wow.
somebody. Oh,
Wow.
that's not good.
The best minion that you could have gotten.
A 7/7 with Reborn.
What
That is
can
pretty
Tertolan
gross.
get you now? Can it get you anything?
Doesn't help you. I guess Polymorph maybe?
No, that's
Well,
random.
no, Polymorph is 1 damage off lethal actually. If it lands on Bomb Samdi. No,
now
it's
they
not.
can
No, it's
cast
not. It's
Polymorph
exactly
and
equal.
Ziliax, right? That's their play.
You're in my
Wait, what?
hands now.
What are they doing? Oh, is that
That's a
what they're doing?
whiff. Wait, what? It
Oh,
landed on the
period.
correct. They're still dead. Still dead.
Yeah, they're still dead. Yeah. I think Polymorph Ziliax is probably better. Yeah.
Yeah, Polymorph Ziliax
Style
gives them a
points.
chance for sure. Why go for the random? I mean, it's not even random. They know the spells they
Yeah.
have in their deck.
Frost Nova is already used as well, right?
No, Frost Nova was not used, I think.
Maybe that's what they was going for them. Maybe.
Now I can't remember. I don't think it was used. But I mean, it's still like something you can whiff on rather than going for a play that almost guarantees that you survive. It doesn't guarantee it every time, though, right? It doesn't guarantee it every time. There's still a silence from the priest. There's still, potential combo wombos on the one somebody that survives that can just get past that. But I mean, it's probably more consistent than going for the Tertolan. And now,
Especially if the only out was Frost Nova. Both in hand anyway. Yeah. Nah, I'm pretty
and
sure
now
Polymorph
London are
Ziliax
going to
was
go with
better.
their lead, right? London, what am I talking about? And now Amsterdam are going to build on their lead. They are 2-1.
Yeah.
They have beaten a bad matchup in the early game, and now they're going to face another snipe from Stockholm. Their only deck possible, the OTK Paladin. That's favored against the Priest. But it will have to face Control Shaman if it beats it, right? I think the Druid is
Yeah.
banned.
This opener from the Priest, by the way, is looking disgustingly good. This is what the Priest needs in this matchup. You have Cleric on 1 into Tolvir on 2. Filth.
Yeah, that's
Dominion
a
is in
prime
there.
hand.
It's
Stockholm
the
wants
only
to
way Paladin
find.
deals with a board like this early is with True Silver Champion and opening hand. They have to mulligan for it. If they don't get it, they're pretty far behind.
Yeah, they haven't mulliganed yet, right? I'm seeing the build
They
for
haven't
Dank
mulligan
and
yet, as far
Yeah.
as I can tell anyway. Yeah, there we go. They
Oh,
got the
okay.
Christology on 1 though. This is gonna be a close one.
Although they're not going to be able to play any of their 2-drops into the Cleric, I suppose they won't do that.
It's true. Oh my god, and the circle picked up for the Priest.
This
Opener is actually disgusting.
Wow.
One coming down on 1, most likely because it's just gonna be like,
Well played.
and then Tolvir on 2, and
Look
then
at that!
Cleric
Amsterdam already
Tolvir
emoting
circle
well
on
played.
3. That is
Already
actual
emoting well played.
filth. Nah, they're not sure feeling confident, and I don't blame them. This is a filthy opener. Clearing an opener this good until turn 6. By then, that light one is dealing a ton of damage.
How greedy do you want to be? Also, they are going greedy. They're going to play the other Tolvir, the injured Tolvir, alongside the Northshire Cleric to heal for what seems to be drawing 2 cards and buffing that Light Warden by 4 damage. That's going to be such a massive power play on turn 3. It's going to be almost impossible, right? It's going to mana-wise, it's going to be almost impossible for
Consecration
Stockholm.
Hammer Path is the only way they're clearing the Light Warden at that point. But yeah, the reason they're going so greedy is because they know the Paladin has no way of dealing with this on turn 3.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god, and another
They're coining
Cleric!
it. They're coining
draw
it.
4 cards.
They're
Disgusting.
always coining it out.
This is the
right?
most disgusting priest
Yes.
opener I think I've ever seen. Oh my god.
Wow.
You have a 5-2 light one, 2 2/6s, and 2 clerics on turn 3, and you've drawn 4 cards, so you don't even have an empty hand. This is actually disgusting.
I mean, do you trade the Tolvir into a 1/1 just to make it so equality is worse?
You go face, you don't care about quality here.
I
If
think
you
you do send the 2/6
then you just Psychopomp on curve, and then you just don't care. To going face in this position.
I mean, playing around equality is not bad. We can see that we're gonna have Shrink 5, but if Amsterdam can find these combo cards next turn, it's pretty much game over. Unless Stockholm is gonna play something like a timeout, which we see they do not have.
Well, they have to deal with the Light Warden. That's obviously a start.
Yeah. Alright, that's one combo card.
They just need Divine Spirit now. If they draw Divine Spirit, the game is pretty much over.
Well, they do have two beaming sidekicks and a powered shield, so that's a lot of damage coming in soon, right? I mean, or not coming in at
I was
all.
about to say, you don't commit too hard into this yet. Like maybe you powered shield to buff the cleric, maybe?
I think a
You
powered shield
definitely,
just
you definitely
to
don't go
get
for an inner fire turn knowing that Shrink Ray is on 5. You definitely
No,
wait.
you're not going for inner fire yet.
I mean, I don't mind power shield coming out here.
Okay,
But
now
yeah,
you're
now you're waiting. Now you're waiting because you have lethal next turn if they don't clear. Shrink Ray, so this plan won't go quite according to.
So they shrink ray here, and if Amsterdam has
Yeah, silence would be lethal.
okay, is that lethal?
No, but Divine Spirit.
No, it's not enough mana for lethal. They need a topsy-turvy.
But as I say, but they can start buffing up one of these clerics, making it 1/5. And
Yeah, I
then
think you do
on
that.
6, it'd then be 20, and then that'd be lethal. And they know that a Shrink Ray is gone too, so if they make a cleric a 1/5, then it's just not dying.
They're gonna
2, 3, 4,
overdraw,
5, 6,
right?
7, 8. Maybe they're looking for
Unless-
silence. I don't mind. I
yeah.
don't mind this. I don't mind this too much.
There's still a
The
minion
Flame Monster is
surviving.
pretty much guaranteed to stick in this position, unless pyro equality is a thing.
So what do you
They
here
are
alongside
forced to
the
consider.
cons? Yeah, but what do you play with it? Do you play Thanos or do you play your Crystologies, just trying to get through your deck faster?
No, you have to go for Fountainless here, because otherwise you risk lethal. Actually, I think
Is
it's
it lethal anyway? Yeah, that's what I
Anyway.
think.
Yeah, because it's 16.
Yeah.
So gross. Oh my god. This is why people have been calling for nerfs on this deck.
And it has
Some-
been
some
nerfed. It
stuff
has
like
been
this.
nerfed, right? Extra hours was nerfed. But we
Next
didn't
round just wasn't the
understand.
right card apparently. Just didn't
Nobody
do
understood
anything.
why Blizzard decided to nerf Priest, right? And they said that they have seen the future, and post nerfs, post the Warrior nerf and Mage nerf, Priest was way too strong, and apparently they were right, because even after the nerfs, the deck is just stomping.
It's mostly because Priest is the only class in the game right now that has unfair early game. Else, like something I've voiced for a little while now is that it's not that Priest is broken unfair, because what they did in that game, while disgusting, is not actually that unfair. A few 1-drops and a few 2-drops, and then just circle.
I mean,
The
Cleric is a
problem
problem.
is that like Paladin and Mage and all these other classes just can't counter it.
Well, I
Like, it's not
guess,
Priest
but
being
who
unfair,
can
it's that everyone
an
else
opening?
isn't
I mean,
fair
I think
enough.
it was pretty broken. A lot of people are calling for Cleric nerf, but then Priest will really not have a lot of powerful basic tools. So you gotta hit that balance if you're Blizzard. But I mean, we've just seen the power of Priest, pretty much stomping two decks that are supposed to be. I mean, Paladin is supposed to be favored, Mage is supposed to be really unfavored. So,
Yeah.
but stomping regardless. And that's it for the series, right? 3-1. Stockholm loses out here to Amsterdam, which actually they did snipe that Zoo Warlock with Warrior in the beginning, but lost a very favorable matchup. From there, indeed, you were right. They got snowballed, and Amsterdam takes the win. Good game to them. The next series will be Helsinki versus London, a very exciting series coming up. You have any words before we go on a break? Short break, Paradox?
Ties don't go anywhere, not particularly.
Pretty inspiring stuff. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back at you with the second series, London versus Helsinki. Stay tuned for some more Hearthstone. Hey guys, welcome back to HouseRivalries Nations Divisions, and now we are going into the second series for the day. Helsinki play against London here. We have two exciting lineups, pretty aggressive from both sides, and we'll get Paradox to give us his input. What do you think about the matches?
Well, the lineups are remarkably similar, even to the point of the bans. Both Warriors were banned. They've both brought Zulok, they've both brought the Inner Fire Priest that we saw a few moments ago. The only difference is that the Finns have brought in Aggro Rogue, and the British have brought in the Murloc Shaman, which is distinct choices, I would say. What do you think about them?
Well, I think Murloc Shaman is more battle tested in the meta we're experiencing. It's probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, ladder deck right now. Rogue is not doing well at all in the meta, and I guess it's there just because it's pretty consistent against aggressive decks, and it can burn them out faster. I'm really not sold on this Rogue. It's a very interesting inclusion. I do think it has the edge over the Murloc Shaman just ever so slightly. We might disagree on that, but I think one is just more battle hardened and the other one is more unique.
It's definitely a word to describe Finland in general.
Well, it's a beautiful country with a very, very weird language that I can never understand.
Oh god.
Yep.
I'm not gonna comment on that.
I mean, I have a lot of Finnish friends.
On the other side, we have normal English over here. Yeah. So anyway, let's dodge that topic, shall we? So anyway, I think the British have brought a much more standardized lineup.
Yeah, we're
like
into
the
the
only
first
thing
game
I would
here,
say
right?
is unique is probably the Shaman list. But yeah, it looks like we're in game
we're
one
seeing
now.
the best two
Let's
decks
see,
going.
on my end. And it
Priest
is the
against
priest mirror
priest.
match.
Yep. What do the priest lists differ from each other? Or are they just the copy of
think they're the same 30 cards. I'm just gonna take a look just to be sure.
I'm doing
And
the
yeah,
same.
I think, unless I'm blind, of course, I think they are both playing the exact same 30 cards.
Okay, so it's a 100% mirror here.
In the light's name.
So who has the better hand here at the start? Definitely Helsinki Masterminds, right? I mean, London doesn't have any of it.
Wasn't you sure about that? I think London is a much better opener. They have never set on 2, which then forces the trade from the Light Warden. They have Blade Master on 3 into Armor on 4. Like, the Finns, by comparison, if they didn't draw that extra arms right there, didn't have that much to do in response.
They could just Divine Spirit or Inner Fire.
Yeah, just taking the trade right there, and yeah, okay. Now the Finns have a much better opener.
I mean, could they possibly trade into this Blade Master without killing their Light Warden though?
Yeah, they can't, because they can't go over full health this turn. Yeah, I guess it's fine then, actually, huh?
Yeah, and then we have we don't have a Psychopomp Bow on the other side, but we do have probably the best other card in the deck, which is I think his name is Amit, right? High Priest Amit.
Yeah, High Priest Amit, yeah.
Probably the most important card in the matchup, and if it can stick on the board, it's quite insane. It will have to soak the silence even if it doesn't get buffed. So the question is, do you actually play it into silence, or do you wait for one Santi to draw you all the 1-drops? So you can play them in...
I don't think patience is really any kind of value in this matchup. It's mostly just getting on the board and snowballing in the mirror match. And like, usually the High Priest Summit for Santi idea is usually just like a last ditch effort when you're... Usually in the matchup it's more just about getting something to stick and then just snowballing from there.
Yeah.
It's just a battle to see like who can stick the one thing first.
So that will have to
And
soak
damn it, it's pretty sticky.
silence, I'm pretty sure. Right? You never actually just leave it as it is.
Beaming sidekick, the Mind Spear in the fire makes you a 10-10 and just kill it. Yes.
Yeah, I guess you could.
Ignition from the Finns as well, knowing that the only way this cleric ever gets dealt with is silence, which is a one-off. If they don't have the silence, then this cleric just runs them over. And silence isn't there. It's just over. I don't think London can come back.
Yeah, there's no silence. There's nothing comfortable they can play this turn.
Drawing at least
everything feels
one
bad,
next
right?
turn, possibly. Oh no, almost certainly two, because they can go more arms into a Nephset Ritualist. Oh my god, this is. Like I said at the end of the last series, but Priest can do disgusting things, and
I mean, I
it's
guess
just
you
another
never play
example of that.
because you can play the if you top deck the Northshire Cleric, then you can try and draw for silence. I guess that's their out, so they have to play
Yeah,
something
I don't
else.
think you have any other out at the moment,
Yeah.
really.
So then keeping the Wild Power would probably be a good spot, which means they can only consider playing a spell and the Light Warden, which also feels really bad. Maybe they just don't do anything.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm sitting here from the British position, I'm just considering the concession right now.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Display. I don't see how this does anything.
I guess
It's like,
the Warden.
oh my god, the second cleric. That is so huge. You can trade cleric into pyro and then go cleric Nephset. Maybe you don't need to do that though, because that's risking full Northshire territory. I don't think you need to be that greedy. They are being that greedy. I don't know how I feel about this.
I mean, they can't possibly get overdrawn or fatigued before they actually kill London right now, right? They have seen a Pyromancer go down.
Yeah, but they could have a second one. You don't know.
Yeah, they could have a second one, and then
Spell
still
Circle
do
at the moment is drawing 10 cards. That's a lot.
That's a lot, but it's not enough
only
at
with
that
pyro.
point. It's not enough at that point. I
No,
think you
it's
might
not
just
sure,
draw
but
some
imagine like hypothetically speaking, you have like pyro spell 2 circle, right? Like somehow you just lose the game.
And now they need to decide to develop another minion or not, which would open. Yeah, but
I mean, the whole pyro
punished.
circle thing is like an out for them to lose anyway, as is.
Yeah, they decided not to play it. I think that's smart. They're playing around that pyro circle.
Yeah.
And, that's pretty much the end of the line here for London. They don't have anything to play that actually. I mean, they could just survive, probably, maybe, till next turn, but that doesn't save them.
Yeah. Nah, I'm pretty sure if I'm sitting here on the British team right now, I just say click the concede button. It's the cleric at this point. You are so far behind. And you've already lost ammo, which is your main combat mechanism, like... Or in good faith, see any possible way that the British can come back from this position. I think they should just concede and cut their losses, honestly.
The end is near.
I mean, they could wait another turn, but it's probably not going to be of any use. They're probably just wasting their time here, but... I mean, yeah, that's okay. Like, it makes it so the Northshire Cleric has to hit it, maybe?
Yeah,
maybe
is
the key word here.
Like, there's a psychological gains and losses to be had for continuing to play a game that you are almost certainly going to lose. Like, even if silence on the cleric was drawn like this turn, I'm pretty sure that the Finns would still could never lose, like from this position.
No, I mean, but I would actually consider just trading 2 of my minions and actually maybe silencing the cleric if they're not gonna trade both. Just so I still don't lose to that pyro out.
There's only 3 cards in hand going into the next turn, so
Yeah, I mean, they're
chances
not
of it being
afraid of it. I
second
mean, but
pyro plus 2 circles. I mean, even then, that wouldn't even like draw them that many cards.
I agree. But I mean, if that's the only way, they maybe gonna end up like Psycho did in Grandmasters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they never lose here. I think the conceit is just coming right up, pretty much. They're dead
Yeah.
next turn.
Yeah,
No
there's the
pyro for
circle.
that.
Circle doesn't do it. Bonsamdi doesn't do it. Yeah, we're almost certainly. Yeah, there we go.
It was
Yeah, it was a little bit late, but now up. They found the consistency button eventually.
Yeah. Well drawn and well played from Helsinki. They had the better hand.
They did priest things in the priest mirror and won. Yeah. Now we get to the actual Hearthstone series, where priest mirrors doesn't happen.
Well,
Lovely.
we're still gonna see Priest probably doing broken things, right? It doesn't really
It depends. It could lose
outperform
the next
anything
game.
today.
I very much hope that London doesn't get full swept, because that would just feel bad.
Yeah, that always.
If
feels
I'm
bad.
London here, I'm bringing in the Shaman at this point, honestly. Yeah. Melot Shaman is probably their best bet in actually being the priest in this position.
Oh no. We see the best 1-drop once again, and it goes in first. I mean, there's a great hand from London here, with 2 Murloc Tidecallers, probably the second best 1-drop in the game.
Second best 1-drop Melot.
The second best.
What a
But
world
Northshire
we've
is
come
gonna be
to,
played
and
on
these are
turn.
the best 1-drops in Hearthstone.
Yep. That's the
What a
battle of the
world.
1-drops, and Helsinki is coming on top.
I actually think that London actually has a better opener. Murloc Tidecaller, especially if they draw like any Murloc, is disgustingly good against Priest.
Is someone injured?
Like we see Cleric on 1, and then no, they're not drawing the Murlocs. Then you need to draw more Murlocs.
I mean, that's still fine.
Well,
Still
that's
fine. They
fine.
have another turn to top deck something, and even if not, if the Murlocs die, they can just play Soul of the Murloc. Wow, that's
The
powerful.
Murloc's only 2 guys, man. That just feels rough. Oh no.
I mean, yeah, if they don't get another Murloc to play next turn, they can't get past that injured Tolvir, which is massive.
Well,
like
Dude,
unless they
cost
trade
3
both
mana
Murlocs.
still. I don't think there's any Murloc that summons tokens that's 1 mana. Oh my god, the Fish Flinger!
That still doesn't clear the Cleric though.
No, it doesn't, but it does mean the Tidecaller clears the taunt.
Yes, it does.
Can't
And of
clear
course, the other one
anything
will not bump.
on the Murloc wood unless the Pyro comes down. It means they clear 1 guy.
Yeah, clear
Yeah.
1 guy and also make it so the Cleric dies. They don't have any.
No, you could
like,
you could shield the Cleric, yeah.
I mean, but the Cleric would still have to trade and get 1 damage. Please get picked up by one of the Murlocs. I mean, you can
Go
just
for
double
the
buff it.
Sidekick and heal line. Or they're considering it at least.
That still doesn't save it. I mean, you can just
But it
double
does
buff
give
it.
them a card. Looks like I'm just going to take the draw of the Cleric first before deciding on the course of action. I like this. And yeah, just Psychic there, just say, yeah, you gotta do something else for it.
Yeah.
Reach. Oh my god, the Mutate top deck with the Mogu! Oh, this turn is gonna be
in before
sick.
Herik the Bat.
To me, man, I want London to win. They're not gonna get Hyreek, they're gonna get Tyrion, it's fine.
Tyrion. Actually, any A drop that's not Herik is probably okay.
Yeah. Alright, let's see what they get. Here
I mean,
we
even
go.
Octosari is amazing here.
disgustingly good. Oh my god, you actually called it! What?
Octosari is gonna draw
Oh my god.
8 cards, making their hand full, unless it gets silenced, making their hand fill up completely. An absolute.
I mean, that means be Octosari.
I mean, we always see that, like, fatiguing the shaman, killing its win prospects against control warriors, but this time it's the MVP 8-drop. It's better than Tyrion, it's better than Walking Fountain, it's better pretty much. Yeah, it's better than pretty much every other 8-drop I can think of.
Yeah.
What do you do now? I think
There's
you
no
still
way
play
the
that.
priest can clear it either. This Octosari can just trade twice and then just draw 8 cards. This is actually disgusting.
Yeah, man,
What
the
do they
Helsinki
do?
masterminds need a silence, or play stuff that don't trade into it. They don't have
Like
any.
stuff that doesn't just die to Octosari. Oh my god.
I mean, you just play Psychopomp hoping that it reses the Tolvir, the injured Tolvir, right? Because the injured actually doesn't kill the 8-3.
Yeah, but you also have a cleric. You have cleric and the beaming sidekick, both of which suck.
Yep.
It's not really a great play this turn. Oh no.
Do they have a choice?
Oh,
Do they,
this
like, what else would
Octosari
they
is
do?
such.
If they play the one they have in hand, then it doesn't actually prevent the Octosari from trading into the other minion.
Oh, they're just gonna go Tolvir Blade Master, I guess?
I would just go for the Psychopomp and pray. To be honest, I don't think they're in a position to do anything else. But wow, that
Yeah.
was...
Oh my goodness. Oh, you can kill. It's gonna kill like 4 things. This is so sick.
Yeah, and you just play your 2 Murlocs and buff
Well,
them.
no, because you trade Octosari into the 2/3, and then you kill Blade Master with the 3/2. So then that way you can spam more Murlocs, and then you don't overdraw. This is so insane.
Okay, that's
See,
also good.
Mermaid. Oh my god, Sled Surfer. No, you don't play it this turn though, I think.
That lines up amazingly. You just
I
dump the
think-
Murlocs, right? You dump them.
Cold Light Seer is pretty appealing there. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Faceless Lackey is actually really good because now you can go Faceless Lackey, Mermy, and then solve the Murloc. And the Finns are probably wondering where their fire is at this point. Oh,
Where's the Mass Dispel that's not in any of the priest decks?
Mass
Where is that?
yeah, well, in the fire
Actually,
is
if they
definitely
had
not
Pyro
what
Mass
they're
Dis-
looking for.
That could have been amazing.
Yeah, they need Pyro from this Psychopomp or else they are done.
They got the worst one.
Yeah. It's just over.
I guess they
Octosari
will leave another turn for that, right? They will probably hope to get the other Pyromancer here.
Yeah.
What an
I mean,
insane
in your
game!
face, you could inner fire Octosari just to make it a 1/1. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really do all that much because now Octosari just trades and then destroy 8 cards. Oh my
that's
god.
that's
They
not
got
bad.
Bloodlust. Bloodlust isn't lethal.
It's not lethal yet, no.
Yeah. I think you just play a Toxfin and you just draw the 8 cards. This is so stupid. Yeah.
I mean, the World Leader,
Toxfin first.
the World Leader is not an
out
outro for lethal, even if they draw World Leader. Yeah, I guess they just draw though. They overdraw by 1, right?
About the overdraw?
I guess they don't. Understandably so.
What do they overdraw? Let's find out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, whatever. That doesn't matter.
Holy
Oh, you
moly.
just want to go. You just want to get like 1 more Murloc and then yeah. Wait.
Wow.
I don't really agree with this.
Me neither, but you know what? Doesn't really matter right now. They are
Well,
so
if
far
a
in the
second
lead.
pyro comes up, then it can clear quite a bit of this board, but... Yeah, that's not a pyro. Yeah, the priest is dead.
Yep.
Just get a bloodlust and then, yeah, we're just done here.
Yeah, as far as they're concerned, though, they have one more turn. As far as Helsinki is
I don't
concerned.
even think the Finns think they have one more turn. I think they're just like...
I don't think they have one more turn, but I mean, as far as they know, it's a
I'm
very...
just saying, as far as the Finns know, I don't think they have one more turn. I think they just think they're just dead.
Yep. But
And
they
they are,
stayed
so-
anyway just to watch themselves die. And now
I
what do
mean,
you
it's
queue
more
into this?
sportsmanship, right? Just
Do you queue the
just to
rogue or
not
the
concede.
zoo into a Murloc Shaman?
Yeah, quite possibly. Because the Murloc Shaman doesn't have that many ways of actually coming back on board once it's lost.
So would you say
The
the
Flesh
zoo
Shaper,
is
and that's
just
about
better?
it.
Because of carpet? They only have one carpet, Helsinki Reds. Only one carpet in their zoo Warlock. I mean,
They do have life tap, which means that they do have more ways of generating resources. Yeah, the Shamaness of generating resources is the underbelly.
they went for
angler.
rogue.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Oh, which is definitely not what you want to be doing in the aggro matchup. You want to be on the play, just
Yep.
so you're able to answer the opponent's threats more efficiently. We do see that the Shaman does already have a good play on one. The Mermy is pretty easy to stick around.
And they do have that mutate, so if they have a Flesh Shaper, it's pretty much... It's almost... yeah, it's almost impossible to be dealt with by Helsinki unless they get a sap, I suppose? But yeah, we don't see a Flesh Shaper yet. And we do see 2 mutates and a 4-drop, which is a pretty horrific mulligan here for London Quick Draws. Yeah, they don't have anything to
Yeah.
develop on 2. Do you just drop a totem and evolve it?
That looks like it. They're considering it. Let's see what 2-drop they get. Oh, it's an evil totem. That's definitely a nice evolution to a totem.
That's pretty great.
The only way the Finns have of actually dealing with this is going Coin Scimitar or Eviscerate. Both of which feel really bad.
Yeah, they're just going for the
Instead,
missile.
I respect this. Neither of those on the evil totem.
Oh, and here's the Flesh Shaper. That's
There
scary.
it is.
That's scary.
They can't
I mean,
play it this turn though. They can't play it this turn.
yeah, I mean, but the mutate from before must make Helsinki pretty numb to the Flesh Shaper option because London opted not to keep the mutate, so they must not expect the Flesh Shaper second mutate. So I don't think they
London
will
was
play around
expecting
it.
it either until it happened. But yeah, now they can just go for the lackey snipe off the war leader. Well, no, that's the question, isn't it? Do you snipe the war leader, or
I
do
mean,
you
you
snipe
could
the evil
Kobold
totem?
Dagger and kill the
Which one do
3/3
you
and
kill?
then trade
Do you
the
kill-
1/4/1 and leave the
you
evil
could
totem and
go-
the 1/1 Murloc. Is there anything
Yeah,
better?
you could also go lackey to kill the totem and then eviscerate to clear the Murloc. They go for.
I think they were gonna have to do that, right?
This does leave exactly 4 minions in play though. To see the Mogu come down now.
Yeah, I lost connection for a bit.
Like you can go Titanic Lackey. So you go Titanic Lackey. What's it called? Titanic Lackey. Kobold Lackey on face if you so choose. Okay, it doesn't look. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you don't need.
And then you're just gonna mutate. What 8-drop's gonna be this time? I know!
That draws the other Flesh Shaper and buffs it.
Yeah, it does, and it gives it +5/+5.
Yeah, it's gonna
plus
have
5?
to be sapped.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, that's
You
so,
have
that's
to,
so rough.
right? There's no
Yeah.
way you could let Kali the Rhino stick the second Flesh Shaper could be there.
The Flesh
this
Shaper mutate is just destroying Helsinki here 2 games in a row. I mean, they still have a
It's just
shot.
good tempo.
It's amazing tempo.
Speaking of good tempo, Fairy Dragon getting utterly demolished by this Kobold lackey.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely a very bad place for Helsinki, and they haven't even hit the face once to at least hope for some sort of a burn plan. London has the board. It has a very annoying taunt with 2 HP in the way that can't be daggered. Really rough game for Helsinki.
Yeah, they can use the South Sea Deckhand to get rid of it. Scimitar deal for 1-2. That's just not good value. Alright, so hoping for Fan of Knives here, I think. And that is not it! Did you pick Wanted?
I think I
Either
actually
walk the
do.
blank.
I think Wanted takes care of most of the minions that you expect the next couple of turns, and the coin is really useful with an Edwin and a hooked scimitar in hand. Yeah, I think that's a fine choice.
So just gonna go for the scimitar and deckhand? What are we doing?
Yeah, I think that's what they're probably going for.
Yeah.
Yeah, the South Sea Deckhand probably goes into the 3-2.
So it goes into the tasty thing, yeah, because you don't want to take 2 extra damage.
Yep.
You a 4-2 to clear a 1-2. That is not where you want to be at.
Yeah, they're
And they've
really
got all
behind
the
right now.
1-drops and oh, we got all the 1-drops.
Which is insane right now, right?
Crazy.
Yeah, these are gonna be paired with Soul of the Murloc to create a very sticky board. Helsinki is not running Fan of Knives. Why would they run it in Face Rogue?
Yeah. It actually gets worse because they can go for Mermy and they give it poison.
Oh, that's
my god,
lucky.
the faceless lackey!
I mean, they can.
Oh no, the camel!
That's fine. It's fine. It's a 2-4.
That snipes Murloc.
It snipes the right kind of Murlocs, right? Because if it snipes a 1 HP minion, it just makes your Tidecaller stronger. Second best one drop.
To control the board, but look at that!
It buffed the Tidecaller.
On attack! Stupid camel. Why can't you spit on the opponent?
Okay, I guess we're gonna see Backstab, Wanted, Coin, Edwin, and just somehow hope that you're not gonna face a
I just hope that there's no Toxfin or Bloodlust.
I mean, you have to do it.
Yeah, you have to do it, but it does not feel great. And you want to clear as many of these minions off the board without generating tokens to avoid that Bloodlust, but not good.
I mean, I don't think even Myra's Unstable Element saves them here. I mean, they're just gonna die.
No, it doesn't, yeah. The Brotherhood shall prevail, but not for long.
Not for long. It's not gonna even proactively hit.
Oh my goodness.
You put it on the Mermy, or do you actually? I think you put it on the Mermy.
You want to go wide.
Yeah.
You want to go...
They're actually not doing that though. They're actually sending yeah, they're making their board thinner. I think that's a slight misplay.
This is fine too. Yeah, you just go all in here if I hear you just go all in. You don't care.
It doesn't lose them the game or anything, but I think it's a misplay. You prefer a Murloc over Totem.
But yeah, this is so rough.
Does that put them on the clock?
Card is a Kali the Rhino too.
Yeah, okay, they're just conceding here. And yeah, the Murloc Shaman sends to 2-1 score, I believe.
Yeah, 2-1 to London. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have London here in the lead. In the lead over Helsinki 2-1. That Murloc Shaman is gonna stick around after beating both the Priest and the Rogue. And now the last deck for Helsinki is Zoo, which could still get them the win, right? They could beat Murloc Shaman pretty consistently, and it's a 50-50 matchup against the average Zoo Warlock from London.
Depends on the opener, really.
And
the Zoo is going first, which is what the Zoo needs, really. Like I said, the aggro,
it's always keeping the magic
matchup
carpet.
wants to go first.
Right? It's always keeping that magic carpet.
I'm not sure you always keep it, knowing that Toxfin is a card. Like, imagine
I
playing
mean,
a card
you're
on
just
3
gonna
and then
use it
losing
to.
Toxfin, you just lose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you play it on a board that you can't guarantee you have. I suppose maybe you mulligan it away, looking for more powerful tempo tools in the early game. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a powerful card in aggro mirrors that maybe you keep it, and they are opting to keep it. They do only have one copy of Magic Carpet in their Zoo Warlock list, which is it's not common at all. Actually, you either see none or 2 copies of Magic Carpet.
Now this opener for London, by the way, is looking very, very good because if they want to, they can coin Angler into 2 Murlocs, and there is nothing that the Finns can do to stop them. Nothing.
I think you always do that. I don't know if you always play
You do it.
the following turn, but you always coin the
Soulfire,
Angler.
right? The only out is Soulfire. Literal only out is Soulfire.
It's not the
Nothing
only
else
out.
does it.
It's not the only out. You can also get the. Wait. Holy moly!
Oh, and they didn't play Sinister Deal.
I
Oh,
thought.
no, they have
I
Abusive
thought.
Sergeant. Yeah, they have
Yeah,
2 Abusive
yeah,
Sergeants. Yeah, Abusive Sergeants now. Yeah. So it doesn't matter.
Are they buffing the Angler by 1 attack so they can kill it next turn with 2 hits?
Yeah,
I guess so, right?
think so.
They're really
Underbelly
desperate. They
Angler
have
is
to
a
do that.
very threatening minion if left alive. I don't blame them for wanting to kill it.
Yeah. And is there anything that
The
saves
Finns,
it?
a pretty good trade in return, though. They can just trade into the Crazy Alchemist. Where these Tox Finns can come into play. Not even trading. I don't mind this too much. Oh my god, the Tidecaller top deck don't even need to use.
Yeah, you always play
It's
that
Tox
and
Finners
put
in
the
name.
poison
This is
on
so
it.
sick. This Shaman deck is doing so much work.
And I mean, when I play Murloc Shaman against Zoo, I feel unfavored.
Yeah.
Wow,
Oh
that's
my
also
god,
really
you got
good
the
pickup.
you got the bluegill toxic combo.
This Murloc Shaman from London Quick Draw is just, oh my god, is just completely destroying Helsinki today. I mean,
Yeah.
the
Face
Flesh
the
Shapers,
angler
the
hit.
curve.
No, you go face. Come on, London, go face. No, why are we trading? No. I wouldn't have traded there.
Oh, they're gonna get punished for it now.
Shouldn't have traded there. And the reason why they shouldn't have traded is because it puts the onus on the Finns. Say which one do you kill? Do you kill the value or the poison?
You kill the
The
poison every
one
time.
in hand.
I wonder if...
Like, it's just missing 3 damage for very little gain, in my opinion.
Yep.
That's a little bit unfortunate, but this opener is still just crazy. Like, you can go Tidecaller into Bluegill on 3. You just
They're
control the
still
board.
oh, and here's the Flesh Shaper. They're 1 mutate away from completely evolving the game out of Helsinki's reach.
And at the moment, they're doing that just fine as is. Like I said, you go Tidecaller, you go Bluegill kills Direwolf, and then you just trade the 1/2 into the mech.
Yeah,
and
no,
the zoo
they're
is no
still way
board,
ahead.
and the hand sucks, so they lose.
Yep, they're still way ahead, that's for sure. But I mean, it's not the evolving way to get the win, right? They're still remaining in the ocean as fish. That's not bad,
I
though.
guess.
Hey,
Yeah.
I got you, friend.
Although that
You
second
cleared it
top
too
spin
soon, I think.
is gonna be a very sad sight
This-
here for Helsinki.
You can even use Cold Lights here too, so it survives after clearing the magic carpet. But you still have a 1/2 with poison afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, but they have no choice. They had to play. They decided
You have
to
to
keep
assume
the
there's
carpet.
no second top spin. I agree. It feels so bad.
Do they go? I think they might actually. I mean, value trading is playing around it somewhat.
Yeah, here we go. Toxin, Cold Lights here. Game over. Yeah. Oh my god.
Mm. And I don't
And
think
the
Helsinki has
Mogu and the
Sinister
tasty
Deal, right?
finish follow-up. Like, What can the Finns
There's
do?
no sinister deal here, so they cannot discover a lackey they want to discover and maybe find some sort of a way to clear. They're just gonna have to I don't know, pray and hope they can somehow get rid of this poisonous Murloc.
I wonder.
I guess you tap first.
But the Brits control the trades.
Yeah, the Brits control the
There's no
trade.
way this poison minion is not going to trade into something good. That's just a fact.
Oh my god.
Into trading into something that the Finns want to die.
Yeah, they're just gonna have to
This
play
is just
it.
so rough.
shall break your bones.
Okay, so you
See
play.
a legitimate case for just wanting to just go all face. And just not even caring about the Nephset Thrasher and just letting it trade into you.
I think that's what you do. I mean, yeah, that's what you do.
Vexing.
You could trade it in, though. I mean, it could still value trade your Murlocs away.
You could, and it does follow in line with what their strat has been throughout this game.
I mean, I
would
think
do
it's
personally.
probably alright. Why would they not play the Mermy?
Yeah. To play on Sea Giant. Because the poison guy's gone anyway, so why would you let your opponent get a big minion down after you've used both your poison guys? I like this. This is pretty smart, actually.
I suppose it is. Although they don't lose to that. But yeah, I guess they just that's a correct play for sure. I didn't count.
Yeah, there's no reason not to play around it if it's available.
Very true.
It's sort of the same position as last turn. It's like, what can you play that doesn't just feel really bad?
I wonder if.
So they're just going to tap and just go for a couple of guys by the looks of it.
Break your bones.
And well,
Yeah,
the
they
Thrasher-
haven't lost yet.
No, they haven't lost yet. This Tasty Fin pulls from the Brits deck. It's going to be very telling of how this game is going to go from here. Double Sea Giant Soulfire. If they start to go tall rather than wide, then Helsinki have very few ways of coming back.
Yeah, the question is if they're gonna play around Sea Giants once again. Like, we can see that the only hope for Helsinki here is if they don't.
If they played around it last turn by not playing Mermy,
Yeah,
then
I
they're
would
going to
go
play
with the
around it
same
again,
line.
surely.
Consistency.
So see the fish finger come out.
Okay, that's not good
And,
enough for Helsinki here. Will they get an
What?
angler?
Upper is not bad, and neither is the ghost-like angler. I had to read that one there.
The Ghost Angler is fine. It's in the Echo Murloc. You can play 3 of
Looks
those
like
next turn.
yeah. It appears that the
Wait,
Finns do
wait.
have a chance after all. They're just going wide.
Yeah. I mean, do they
See,
go?
there is no taunt though.
Do they go? That's
Yeah.
lethal on board. Next turn.
It most certainly is, and the Thrasher deals 4 when it attacks. So
I mean, it's gonna just have to be. I think Soulfire is gonna have to be played here, and the question is, what do you do with the Thrasher? You can't attack with it. I guess you just leave it there.
I think you have to tap in this position because you just die. Like if you don't, there's still 30. Wait, hold on.
No,
So
I
you
think if you
Soulfire-
Soulfire, you survive on board.
There's still 9, 11, 14 on board. There's still 14 on board, so you have to tap. At
What are you
some
hoping
way
to
of
get?
getting Titanic
Voidwalker?
Lackey here.
Yeah, Voidwalker maybe? Oh, that's not gonna cut
So
it.
Sergeant's not gonna do it
Impressive.
on the board,
They're
and
just
London's
dead,
gonna
yeah.
take it.
Murloc Shaman sweeps. The best deck in ladder actually is the best deck in the series.
Second ladder is the best deck in the game.
Yeah, if you're a ladder player, now you have the confirmation. Also do it in tournament.
Uh,
Yeah,
So
really,
good note
really
for
nicely
Leon.
played though from both teams. That going wide thing at the end, I think it was a realization of the lethal on board. And I think that was correct. I mean, we kind of didn't recognize that as fast as they did.
Yeah, the Finns were just dead.
Yeah, they were just dead.
they just went so fast.
Yeah, I mean that's how you roll with Murloc shamans. You go fast, and they had really good curves. They had the shapers carrying the first two games.
Good old Octasari on turn 4 of the game.
Octosarian, they had
That
another
was
decent
not
one,
fun.
right? What did they have before the
Akali, like the next
Octosari?
game afterwards. I mean,
Yeah.
Akali didn't do anything, but he was pretty scary. Yeah.
And that basically
Sorry, carry on.
that basically makes it for Helsinki's first loss. I think Helsinki were undefeated so far in this tournament in the Nations Division, and they get a very one-sided, it feels like, right? Defeat from a Murloc shaman played by London here, which actually
London, my
catapults them
home
to the
city.
middle of the chart.
Kind of the UK doing well.
So your countrymen basically did it. You were rooting for them, and they didn't disappoint. They
Just
went.
went face.
Yep, they went face
Going
with the
face is
fish.
truly the British way. Our ball control.
Yep. If I had to summarize this series in one Hearthstone card, it would be sleep with the fishes. London gets it done. Very well played from both teams, though. Helsinki is still in prime position for playoffs, and London is improving their odds, moving from I think they're around the bottom middle of the chart. So that's probably a
This
very
really
good
is an upset
confidence
then,
boost.
huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's the result we want, right? More interesting that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job both teams, though. Anything you want to add, Paradox, before we end this with the fishes?
No, think I'll let you take it from here.
Okay, so thanks a lot to both teams who played this last series. Thanks a lot to the two first teams, and thank you guys for watching and talking in chat and communicating and supporting the teams. A quick shout out to our sponsors, 24 Fitness, GameStop, and of course, let's not forget Matcherino, and to Bemi Esport for organizing this thing. I'm Fowler. This was Paradox, and I bid you farewell till the next time.